Ohio House Republicans want to increase school funding, but they're deviating from a bipartisan plan that was actually made 4 years ago, known as the Fair School Funding Plan. A measure within this new plan would require counties to reduce property taxes if districts carry over more than 25% of their previous budget. Joining us to break down what this is, what it could mean for public schools and property owners, is the president of the Ohio Education Association, Scott DiMauro. Scott, thank you for joining us here.
Yeah, good to be with you.
Yeah, 4 years ago, lawmakers, they reached a bipartisan agreement on how to pay for educating students here in Ohio in the public school systems. But House Republicans now say that plan's going to be too expensive. Instead, they're proposing this new measure. What exactly would the provision require schools do if it passes?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things happening here. And the first thing I need to point out is that the budget that the House passed last week sets aside the Fair School Funding Plan, does what they're calling a bridge formula in order to move forward with state funding. And unfortunately, it doesn't adjust for increased costs for schools. It doesn't provide a rational basis for determining state aid for school districts. And it leaves schools collectively about $2.75 billion short when you compare what the Fair School Funding Plan should be providing in additional state revenue and what they're proposing. But this additional proposal makes things even worse, because what it does is it sets an arbitrary cap. They adjusted it to 30%. So if a district has more than 30% of its budget in reserves, in its rainy day fund, then there's an adjustment that needs to be made, essentially requiring the district to give that money back. Legislators are saying that this is their attempt to deal with property tax relief. The reality is it's punitive to districts that have been trying to do their best to manage taxpayer resources in a responsible way, and it's very uneven. There are going to be some districts that see a big impact and other districts that see none at all.
Yeah, I know the voters, every time those politicians would come in, they would say, oh, the voters say that we need to work on property taxes. So you're saying this is one of those avenues. Explain, though, why could having excess funds be so important to a school district? You say a lot of them have been working to maintain their budgets, stay out of the red. They're doing forecasting. So why would it be important to have some money sitting in the bank?
Yeah, there is all kinds of uncertainty when it comes to planning for district expenses. For some districts, they may have just recently passed a levy, and then in the projection for the levy, over a period of time, those reserves are going to be spent down. The longer they're able to hold on to savings, the longer they can wait before going back to voters to ask for another levy. So this change is going to just require districts to go back to voters more frequently to raise taxes, which seems really counterintuitive. The other thing is that sometimes districts have unique needs. Maybe it is still addressing some ongoing challenges coming out of the COVID pandemic. It may be that a district is anticipating a new influx of students, particularly students with special needs. It might be a district to set aside funds because of a building project, and some of the money that's in their savings is being designated for that. Bottom line is that every district has its own reasons for carrying a reserve. Experts say that 25% is the minimum just to maintain a decent bond rating so that districts can get the best rates when they're borrowing funds. The state is really threatening to punish districts because they're not being real about addressing the need for real property tax relief for taxpayers.
And real quick, do you think this will pass, or do you think that this might get some pushback from the governor?
Well, it's already getting a lot of pushback. I saw the governor make a comment recently, I think, raising some questions about that. We are certainly going to do everything we can with our state senators to put a spotlight on just how problematic this proposal is. And I'm hopeful that if people speak out and they see just how much it's going to harm kids in our schools, that this will come out of the budget before the Senate acts later this year.
All right, Scott, thank you for joining us right here at 5.
Thank you.